When writing a story, I usually start in my sketchbook. It could be a doodle, a poem, or even a fan writing of a book, song, or otherwise. Something I make sparks an idea, and with the idea comes endless possibilities. For example, my graphic novel, with the working name of Martians of Phobos, started with a small caricature in my sketchbook. This small drawing sparked an idea for me. The idea was Alien Girl. From there, I developed the character further through drawings and short writings about her personality, home, relationships, and otherwise. This spiraled into what I have today, a young journalist who travels to Earth from her home on Phobos to learn about the humans that live there. But hold on a second. How did we get here? I went from a basic prompt of Alien Girl to a fully fledged world and plot? What happened? Well, allow me to explain. Progression of this story happened over the course of 2 years, slowly building up until I was happy with the story enough to start script writing and digitally drawing the first page. Because this happened over such a long time, I'm just going to give you the shortened demo. I start with the prompt, which is, of course, Alien Girl. Since this is pretty vague, I start asking myself some questions. Firstly, what is the environment? If she's an alien, where in the universe does she reside? I already had the idea that she lived on a blue planet or moon, asteroid, something like that, so I did some research. I looked for moons near Earth that were blue in color sometimes, and could possibly be habitable with some sci-fi nonsense. Thus, I found Phobos. Bingo, done. Nextly, who is the protagonist? Who is this girl, and what is her personality like? Her name isn't really important, as it can always be decided much later in the process. I did eventually land on Amy. I wanted Amy to be an artist of some sort, someone really passionate and caring for those around her. I decided to make her a writer and journalist, which gave her a reason to travel to Earth. That conclusion also leads into our next question. What is the character's goal? What does this character want to accomplish, and why? Easy. She's a journalist. She wants to travel to Earth to learn about the cultures and difficulties there so she can write about it and share her findings with her people. What is the conflict? What causes the character to not be able to reach their goal? This could be a person, maybe multiple people, or some sort of unfortunate accident. Perhaps it's to do with circumstance. For instance, a war breaks out, or maybe the character is unable to attain their goal because of their social status or background. Whatever it is, it's important for the protagonist to have conflict, either external or internal, to make for an interesting story. Now, I will not be revealing what the conflict of my story is. That would be spoilers. How does it end? How does the story end? Does the character or multiple characters achieve their goal? Are they unable to? Why is that? Is it a cliffhanger or unsure ending? Will there be a continuation of the story in a sequel? Unfortunately, I cannot reveal the end of my story. Again, spoilers. I guess you'll have to read the book to see where my brainstorming took me. To recap, writing a story is based on asking yourself questions, starting with a character, object, city, or even an entire planet. Any concept can be turned into a fully fledged story by asking yourself these questions. What is the environment? What setting does your story take place in? Who is the protagonist? Who is the main character or characters of your story? Doesn't have to be a protagonist, could be an antagonist or otherwise. Just figure out who they are. Again, their names aren't important. What is the character's goal? What does the main character want to accomplish, and why? What is the conflict? What makes the character unable to achieve said goal? How does it end? How does the story end? Well, all of these questions are important to answer. Having only a vague idea for some or even most of them is okay. Just make sure you have at least a few concrete answers, such as who is the protagonist and what's their goal. You don't have to have the end figured out, just make sure you know what you're writing about. There you go. You can now write a great story and not confuse your readers. If you're making a graphic novel like I am, you can now begin on your script, if you're making one. Script writing is a whole other thing, so maybe I'll make a video on that as well, as it's a more refined process in a way. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, Tika out! Hey, I did it! And it only took me 11 minutes.